Greetings there, Turboristas. Well, it's been a little bit of a while since our last communication, and as you can see, I have my communication device ready in case someone tries to contact me from the beyond, which they usually do, interrupting my videos. Anyway, I last spoke to you regarding our new president, perhaps your new president, and his likelihood of imploding in the near future, which he seems about to do. I always knew the man was too self-destructive to last, and it's amazing to me how his sheer buffoonishness and deep ignorance has bitten him on the ass so quickly. It's happened much faster than I expected. However, even though he seems to be the first president of the empire to be on the verge of impeachment so quickly, and probably will end up being the first actually impeached. No, that was Andrew Johnson, wasn't it? Well, the first in our living memory to actually go through the process. What they're hitting him for is really partisan in nature and is more smoke and mirrors than actual substance. The basic charge of Russian meddling in the U.S. elections basically leaves me cold. I have no sympathy for this, simply because of all the meddling the U.S. has done in the elections of other countries over the past 60 to 70 years. I don't need to go through the whole list. That would be rather monotonous. But just as a case in point, Ukraine. That's been, 2-3 years ago now. Time flies when you're living in your coffin. Where the U.S. openly intervened in an election on the Russian border with the intent of putting in an anti-Russian government in power, which it succeeded in doing, putting a bunch of Trumpist buffoons in the Ukraine, which was all right as long as it was far away, instigating a civil war that seems to be on an off-and-on pattern, but could ramp up still into something more serious. Well, that was quite all right, because that's just the U.S. exercising its prerogative of spreading democracy. Someone else tries it to the United States, or is alleged to have done so, and now all is crisis, all is alarm, all is saber-rattling. Whereas to any rational, objective observer, it seems like a case of merely tit for tat. That if you had pissed in someone else's yard, they might not be running their hand up your skirt. So the whole charge in itself leaves me cold. There's no ethical or legal room for complaint from the United States. Two wrongs may not make a right, but in this case, the United States does not have any clean hands with which to point fingers at someone else. So that point aside, basically, even if the allegation were true that there was Russian meddling in the United States election, this, good folks, did not cost Hillary Clinton the election. For one thing, her arrogance did, and the Electoral College basically did. The system worked as it was designed to do, as it should have. It kept the rabble mob from exercising its direct majority, putting in a layer of restraint between the rascals in the streets and the refined gentlemen who actually run society. That was how it was designed to function. That's what it did. So, I mean, the Electoral College's results have a mixed record. It gave the election of 1860 to Abraham Lincoln. It gave the election of 2016 to Donald Trump. So it seems to be rather neutral and bipartisan in its effects on the system. But you can blame the system and no outside interference, not even the FBI investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails, for throwing the election to the person currently in office. Perhaps the final point I want to make about this, aside from the fact that it's a non-starter, is that there's no evidence that Trump has actually done anything to warrant an impeachment. He's been indiscreet, he shot off his mouth, but he actually hasn't betrayed anything or anyone. There actually hasn't been any grounds for legal action. And remember, impeachment is a legal term. It's not an ethical term. It's not a political term. It is a legal accusation of wrongdoing. That his character can be impeached through his legal actions. His actions can be impeached through legal activity or illegal activity. There is no grounds so far for any such judgment. So basically the main point is that there is no point. It is partisan politics. It is sour grapes on the part of the Democrats for having lost the election and looking for a way to reverse it. You don't need these non-issues. You don't need to manufacture it. Now, the fact that Trump has behaved in such a self-destructive manner might point to there being substance to the accusation, but they haven't produced it. No one has yet produced it. Your independent investigation committee might do so in the near future. We don't know that. It's probably a good thing that it is being enacted. But to date, there really is little more than Cold War leftover McCarthyism to warrant the accusations that are being made. So until the Democrats and the anti-Trump opposition have something more solid than this, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Let Trump do that. Let him do it for you. So far, he's doing an excellent job. But we don't need to manufacture idiocy to match his own. And I knew it. Hello. Who? Vladimir Putin? On this line? Oh, no wonder it's so hot. Anyway, what? You want to congratulate me on doing a good job promoting your interests and the interests of Russia in this video? Well, I mean, it's always good to hear praise for, your YouTube efforts, but that's not why I'm doing this, sir. The reason is that I just don't think that however much of an idiot Trump is, and perhaps you like him for that reason, but however much of a moron and an imbecile he is and unfit for his job, that false accusations or allegations or unsubstantiated crapola are not necessary to get rid of this man. He will do it for himself. He is too much of an arrogant, entitled idiot, and for a party that is opposed to entitlements, they have this man as their poster boy is a supreme irony. He's too much of an idiot to do anything but self-destruct. So I think there is all likelihood that if there is any connection between you and him and any indiscretion that's going to be dragged out of the closet, he'll just simply cut his own throat all over the sheets before it ever has a chance to blow back on you. The problem is, of course, that since we have to live with the man, we may get drowned in the blood too.